Sometimes I feel like I don't have a partner. Sometimes I feel like my only friend is the city I live in, the city of angels. Lonely as I am, together we cry. Drive on her streets 'cause she's my companion. I walk through her hills 'cause she knows who I am. She sees my good deeds and she kisses me windy. Well, I never worry, now that is a lie. And I don't ever wanna feel like I did that day. Take me to the place I love. Take me all the way. I don't ever wanna feel like I did that day. Take me to the place I love. Take me all the way. Yeah.
Luke, man.
It was either that or heavy metal, but
man, that's a classic song, man.
Yeah,
Thanks so much for opening it up that way.
Thank you.
That was well worth the wait, man. Thanks so much. Stay on the mic. Stay close to the mic there. Man, that's gonna be hard for somebody else to top, man.
Oh, fuck,
were you nervous? You tell me on the phone that you were nervous about that. Look how well you did.
Yeah, I retired Celine Dion around 11. That's when the rasp started coming in, and I haven't done much singing since then. I assure you we lay bricks better than I sing, that's for sure.
Do you sing on the side, on the job site when you're laying bricks?
I'll sing in my car when I'm driving alone.
Nobody on the job site sings? Come on. You guys are Masons.
We've had some guys that sing. They actually do remixes to songs and attach Masonry lyrics to it. So
that's kind of entertaining.
Yeah, it's a really good one. I'll sing that one to you after. It's got a Portuguese twist to it. There's
which one's that?
I'm gonna sing 2 songs today.
Oh, yeah, well, if you want to do it at the end, you can do it at the end. But which song is that? What song are we talking about that's got Portuguese lyrics to it?
To be honest with you, doesn't have Portuguese lyrics. It's he was a Portuguese guy that I used to work with, and
he made it his own.
Any song, we used to have the radio playing, and I got to tell you, as soon as a song would hit the radio, it didn't matter what it was, he would spin all the lyrics and remix it to like masonry words and associate with masonry and laying bricks and the foreman and this and that, and I'll sing it to you after.
You remember? How old are you, man?
I've turned 40 in a month, man.
You might remember. Remember
K-Town?
K-Tel,
no.
K-Tel was like these cheesy record compilations that they used to do back in the 70s and 80s, where you would have all these different, like the latest hits, and they would kind of make a compilation on one record or one cassette. And I could see like a Masonry K-Tel version coming out, and you'd have like the Portuguese one, the Italian one, the Polish one, different versions of the same song.
Like I said, I can't take credit for it. He was the mastermind behind it, man. We had so much fun working together. Maybe one day he'll watch this. He knows who he is.
He knows who he is. He's not on the crew anymore?
This was a few years back before I went on my own and I was working for somebody. It was just one of the guys that we worked with regular throughout the years.
I don't know. He'll probably get wind of it. We have a lot of people listening to the show, which is great.
Buddy.
So
he's awesome.
Luke, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for making the time and coming here and sitting down. And we have a mutual friend. We got to do a little shout out to Phil. Yeah. Good old Heavy Duty Homes, right?
Thank you, Phil.
Yeah.
Give me the number, give me the contact, get me in touch here. Thank you. Yeah, super great group of guys over there, man.
Yeah, he knows a thing or two what he's doing, and he's handling, he's riding the storm, and he's doing great work, and he's got a good bunch of people that are working with him, man. Yeah. Which is good. And awesome. Then he found you. Yeah, so it's all good, and I'm glad that we connected and we chatted on the phone, and now you're on the show.
Again, thanks for having me.
The heavy lifting is done, and now let me just introduce you. So again, sorry, how do you pronounce your last name?
Obrzut.
Obrzut. It's that Polish thing.
I'm not going to hold it against you.
Is it just Tyskie? Are we just drinking Tyskie these days, or what?
I don't do much regular drinking anymore.
No,
those are.
We get older.
No, those are
get older.
personal choices I've made. It's in my best interest. We'll put it that way. Maybe we'll get in. Maybe we'll get into the personal a little bit.
I do thank you very much for bringing the stogie. I really appreciate it, and also you brought me some swag there. It's over there that I'll wear on a future show. I really appreciate that too. I'm always grateful for that. Transform Masonry Group is in the house right now. www.tmasong. So it's TMASONG.com. You can get him on his email at Luke.TMG@hotmail.com, and obviously on IG. You can get them at Transform Masonry Group. Quick shout out. I got Ryan's hoodie on today. Buchanan Carpentry. He was on the show not too long ago, and he dropped off a nice hoodie here. It's nice and cozy, even though we're not having a typical Canadian February going into March weather. Are we going to see another storm?
It's over, buddy.
I think it's done, eh?
It's over.
Good for you guys, but you still have the tent. I don't care how you still have the tent.
If it's some smaller stuff that the weather's good and we got a window like yesterday, 9-10 degrees, we're not putting up a tarp for something that's being done in and out.
Yeah.
On the large stuff, we're still covering up. This way, we're not running heaters, but at least we're prepped for when it does
just
come.
in case. If you get that cold snap.
We had a few dips throughout the week. It took a turn. At least you're prepped for it. At least we're prepped for it.
So I was saying off mic before we got started, because we just met for the first time, but I totally feel connected to you, man. Like, I totally relatable to you.
Thank you.
You're my first Polish Mason on the show, and also Polish Mason that I know, because I know a lot of Portuguese, Italian, Irish, Croatian.
That was the bulk of my training starting up, Portuguese and Italian. They were, I'm going to say they dominate the industry for a long time.
Were they kind to you? Kind-ish?
I take things well. Listen, I've some say abuse creates journeyman, and I endured a little.
Creates journeyman. That's a T-shirt, you know that,
I've heard that phrase before, and I endured quite a bit of abuse in my younger age. That's in my younger years. That's for sure.
Was the old man a Mason too?
He is.
He taught you?
Recently retired. December.
Recently retired.
Yeah.
How many years did he do it for?
40 plus between that and concrete.
Hard jobs, man.
Came over to Canada in '86 and went to work, man. Like most immigrants from Europe in that time.
What part of Poland is the family from?
My mother's side is from the northern side, in the Olsztyn area. My father's is from the southern, Wałbrzych.
I know of Bobje,
yeah. There was a time there, escaped communism. We were a family that immigrated through Greece. We went on vacation and never returned.
Hard days back then too, huh?
Yeah, things were definitely different in Europe back then.
What's he think of Canada now?
He says he's having glimpses of.
Really?
He's having glimpses of old Poland when he was younger.
Really?
He says,
I don't want to get too much into it.
I don't want to get into that political side of that, but
I don't doubt him and I don't fault him, man.
There's certain things that are in place that remind him of the old day at home, and he's like, we don't have roadblocks and road checks, stuff like that. But he says he feels like it's slowly trickling in that direction, and it's coming from somebody who's lived there for a large number of years and essentially packed up his family and escaped from that. Who better tell you that
that's someone who's
seeing the red flags
and went through it, right?
Yeah, seeing the red flags.
And I think it's the first time in Canadian history that you got about an average about 500 Canadians leaving this country for good on a monthly basis.
Yeah, it's
that's a pretty interesting stat. But we don't want to get into that. We want to get into masonry. We want to get into talking about the trade. And so he taught you, and you were on the job site at what age?
It took me to work. I was probably about 11 or 12 the first time I went out there with them.
Back in the days when there's no child labor.
It was he was.
You were a laborer.
He was working, and he was working for someone regularly. Take a little gig on the weekend, to make some extra income to support the family And who better than his son for cheaper labor, right? Inside of that, or you're gonna pay somebody. But I won't lie, I enjoyed myself. It was nice. I got out. He always put a couple bucks in my pocket. It was enough to run to the
But you worked hard too.
Yeah.
Right, and you understand the value of working on that job site. Yeah. You saw it.
He taught us a lot of good things. I bought me a shovel for my 18th birthday.
Nice shovel?
Yeah, I didn't want to go. Didn't want to go to school. That was school wasn't for me. So
what do you think when
over
your
and said-
dad
he
comes
said,
up and holds the shovel in front of you?
his exact words were, "You don't want to go to school? Happy birthday, you're gonna need that." I hated him for that fucking shovel, man.
Was there a bow on it?
No, there was fucking anger in my throat. I fucking hated him for that show. I've grown to appreciate it, and I understood why he did it.
You
at that
understood totally why he did
time.
it.
So
Yes.
I'm grateful for that shovel. I worked with it for 6 years. I used it. I worked with it for 6 years. Kept that thing spotless, like every laborer should. Clean his own tools at the end of the day, and
Never chipped it?
you know
Cracked
what happened
it?
to it? Somebody snatched it.
No.
Yeah, it went missing. It went missing, and I got moved job sites or something. It was in the job box. I went somewhere. I came back. Who knows? I fucking probably didn't show up. I was 18, 19, 20 at the time. You know, probably called and I'm not coming to work today. One of those, and came back and it was gone. I had to go buy another shovel, but.
Wait, you called your dad saying that you're not going to come into work?
Well, no, I was working for a company.
Oh, you were working for a
I
company,
was working
and
for a
you
company
called.
by then, yeah.
So you think
Yeah, whether I called in, whatever reason was
there was
why
a call in?
why I wasn't on the site that day.
Yeah.
Somebody else scooped the shovel out of the job box, and I never seen it again. It's fucked up. I hated him for that shovel, but I was mad when it went missing.
Of course you were.
Fucking mad when it went missing.
Of course you were, man. Yeah. Pull the mic closer to you. No, you don't have to come closer. You can pull the mic closer to you. Yeah, don't worry. That's all. That's all good like that. I know exactly what you're talking about, man. I still own shovels that my dad had. I still own mason levels that my dad had. Yeah. Like there's, even though there's hard times between you, those little things mean so much nowadays, man.
Yeah, it's I've seen guys' sheds. They have old tools of their grandfathers and stuff like that. It's like you understand why they keep those things. They don't come out. You don't work. You're not working with them. If they're there, you might grab it and tinker with it for something small, but they're not hitting the job site.
No, it's a reminder of where they came from and what they've achieved.
Yeah,
that's what it's a reminder of. So don't ever throw them out.
No,
hang on to them for as long as you want, and then maybe hand them to somebody else, and they can hang on to it for as long as they can. There's value in them, man.
Well, I get the meaning. For me, they have sentimental value. I'm gonna give it to my daughter. She's like, what do I want a shovel for?
She might understand it one day.
Maybe
she might get it.
Yeah.
How old is Transform now?
4 years. It's 6, but I've been completely on my own for 4. There was a duration where it was a part-time business. I was still working for somebody and evolving.
You had to build it.
Yeah, evolving.
To grow it. Yeah.
Evenings and weekends, steady. Started doing smaller projects that were more manageable for the weekends, squeezing them in Saturday, Sundays. Got some larger stuff. Call in Friday. Say, I can't come to work today. I have that feeling. Well, meanwhile, I'm doing my own thing. Then it became some slightly larger projects. Now I needed 4 days, so now I'm taking the Friday and the Monday off. And then eventually, I just kind of started putting things together and say, you know what? I think it's time.
Don't most Masons pull that card? Like, don't they? Like, I'm ready to pull my own and build a crew on my own and.
I think a lot of guys do. Masonry, I think, is one of those jobs where majority of guys are doing some kind of little side job on a Saturday, Sunday. Whether it's a chimney for their neighbors or something like that.
Do they do it for the money, or do they do it because they want to take the next step, grow a business like yourself?
It's hard to say. I think majority of people do anything they do for money.
Yeah,
I think it's a sad world we live in, and the money is essentially, as they say, makes the world go around, and you're not getting anything done without some money. So I think it starts off with money, and then maybe, I think for me it started off with for extra money. It definitely did, and then.
But weren't you on the back thinking, I'm going to start something on my own? I want something of my own.
Initially, yes. So, it's been an interesting road in my life. Let's just put it that way. And I didn't always see things and think the way I do today. I struggled with a lot of years with addiction issues and stuff like that. So that's why I don't choose to drink. Like we said, the Tiskies, they're just special occasions, a holiday, vacation.
You learned your lessons from them, right?
So I don't that. But then, so when it was just I take a job, supplement some income, and then once I got clear-minded, I realized that I'm worth more, and I can do my self-worth is more, and I'm capable of doing more with my life. So I initially took the next step. Another part of it was there was people I was working with, foremans that were in charge, and at this point I was 15 years, 16 years in the industry doing high-rise for large outfits, very, very large outfits. The guy that was in charge, man, couldn't even fucking read blueprints. And,
I'm not shocked.
And he'd ask me to do things. I'm like, buddy, is that what you want me to do? He's like, yeah, I'm in charge. Blah, blah, blah. This, you do what I tell you. I said, yeah, no problem. That's what you want me to do. That's what I'm going to fucking do. And meanwhile, in my head, I'm thinking, this is fucking nuts. And I realized that there's a lot of guys that have very little understanding in masonry, and they're in positions, and how they get into those positions sometimes by luck.
Was he a Nepo Mason or what?
A relationship. You know what? I've seen a few foreman laborers that don't actually know how to lay bricks themselves, and they're experienced bricklayers never respected what they were asked to do, because he would walk away and be like, you know what the fuck he's talking. He doesn't even know how to fucking lay a brick, but he's gonna tell me how to lay my bricks. You know what I mean? So,
but did he know how to? HighTech Concrete Cutting is a leading provider for all concrete scanning, X-ray, cutting, and coring throughout Ontario. They pride themselves in providing highest quality service in a safe manner, on time, and on budget. With the background, knowledge, and support of more than 30 years' experience from the owner Dan St. Onge, there is no job that they cannot quote or complete. Their fleet is equipped with top-of-the-line trucks and equipment, which eliminates any uncertainty for downtime and allows our highly skilled crews to complete your project without delays. Choose HighTech Concrete Cutting for your next project and see the difference when dealing with the industry leaders. Find them at www.hightechcutting.ca and on Instagram at HighTech Concrete Cutting.
he knew how to direct traffic.
He didn't know how to run the business or run the crew or understand the industry.
So
that's where I was going with it.
When the on-site foremen, they knew how to delegate tasks. They had, I guess maybe there was a level of fear from certain guys, and he knew how to project himself and be very direct with his orders. So, sometimes companies see that as a good thing. And then, so there was one guy, he was good with that, and he had the supervisor come in and assist him with doing layouts. But he was good to leave on site, crack whip, as they say. But when it came to the thing, he relied on the experienced bricklayers to know what they're doing. But he was able to organize certain things, order the materials, make sure we had things like that. But
he was good on that?
He was good with that. But when it came to physically doing installs, some guys were clueless. And I'm not going to say that this one particular guy I'm talking about. And that was a big part of why I was like, fuck this, man. Like, I'm taking orders from this guy, man. Like, it was bothering me. It was bothering me on a deep level. So then I started taking on projects for myself. And eventually, like I said, the projects we were taking on were becoming more frequent. They were getting larger in scale. So then we just pulled the trigger and I went on my own.
How many years did you do that one for?
About 2.
Okay.
About 2.
All high-rise?
All high-rise altogether. I've been in the industry working full-time since I was 18. I turned 40 this year. Spent 6 years on a shovel, 6 years on a machine, and then the rest of the time, on tools. It's
not a blur, right? You know exactly when you say 6 years and this many years, yeah. It's not a blur, right? No,
I know the time that was.
You know the jobs, you know the time, you know the weather, you know the crew, you know the everything.
Yeah, I think it's attention to detail is important, and I think I'm still pretty sharp. I've might have fried a few cells in my younger years, but I still think I'm pretty sharp.
Pull it a little closer to you, yeah. No, that's fine. Don't worry. I want you to get comfortable, but I want the mic to be close enough to you, or even just bend the mic a tiny bit. So, yeah, that's it. That's okay. That'll work. Yeah, no, because I have a lot of respect for you guys. That you guys are you're flies on the construction wall, but you're 100% aware of everything that's going on in every single project, and that's for a reason. That's where I was trying to go with that. Right. You know what I mean? So it may sound to the layman, 6 years on the shovel and what have you, but no, man. There's like 6 years is a long time. A lot of jobs.
I don't believe anybody should touch a trowel and lay bricks on a wall if they haven't labored, haven't operated a forklift, and they don't know what happens, essentially, as we say, on this side of the scaffold before they're allowed to stand on that side of the scaffold. Yeah. There's two sides to a scaffold, where the bricklayers stand and where the laborers work.
Yeah.
And you have to know the job as a laborer, what goes into prepping the job, making sure the guys have everything they need. Timing. You have to be able to see ahead, coming up to windows. Okay, I know he's going to need steels. Let me measure these steels. Let me know the thing. You got to be able to think ahead. So if a laborer shows those qualities and he's able to think ahead, that he's able to move up. Say, you know what? I'm going to let this guy put him on the machine. Let's teach him how to drive the machine. Let's get him his credentials. Get him on there. Let him start tinkering with the forklift. See how he does. See if he can move loads. Start him off gradually. Low lifts, higher. See how comfortable he's on the machine.
Train, just learn.
Some guys either have it or some guys don't. I've had a guy, I got so much years experience driving forklift, blah, blah, show up.
So they were just talking a big walk, right?
Different kind of experience, forklifts. So there's warehouse guys that have forklift experience.
That's not the same as
that's not the same as a construction site. There's guys that have high-rise forklift experience.
That's like taking a Baja racer and putting him on NASCAR.
Yeah,
it doesn't work.
It's not. It's you drive it out, you operate a machine, but when you get into the big 4x4s and muddy grounds, and all of a sudden you get into a sinkhole.
Factory.
You got three scaffold, a section of scaffold, 3 wide, 3 high, sitting on your forks, and you hit a sinkhole, and your forklift starts doing this. You got to right away be on the levers, adjust. You got to feel the ground. Guys. Some guys have it, some guys don't.
Are laborers crying too easily these days?
In one simple word, fucking bitches.
Okay.
They are. It's a sad.
2 words.
2 bitches. 1 word. They're too sensitive, man. Guys. I don't know what's.
What do you mean? You can't critique them. You can't educate them.
They're not open to constructive criticism. They're as soon as you ask them to do a task, you're like,
really?
Oh, there's a lot of guys like that, and
they're quantifying how difficult it is in their head.
It's just I don't know what it is. It's
not the way that you were taught or you saw.
Listen, I think the lack of workforce has something to do with it, because when I first got into the industry, but if you don't like it, the fucking door's right there. There was 2 guys lined up to get in to have my job, like that. Now it's hard to find skilled labor. So we find ourselves putting up with more with these guys. I know, for instance, some of the stuff that I put up with on occasion wouldn't be tolerated, man, like 20 years ago.
But they're getting away with it these days.
This is a problem.
Yeah, I know.
This is a problem. Everybody wants to take a video and a picture of what they're doing. Guys, do your fucking job. When you're on lunch and you're on break, fucking do whatever. But right now,
sure, exactly.
You're on the fucking clock.
Start of the day, capture a moment. Yeah. Sun's coming up. It's great. Beautiful light. You don't need a filter. Do it then.
Before and after.
Yeah.
If you're ahead, listen, if you're ahead, you got everything, you know what I mean? Listen, I'm not going to tell guys you can't have your phones on them. Listen, emergencies happen, I understand.
Of course. People got to get reached, yeah.
But there's guys, I had a kid working for me. If I sit there and he'd be like this, I pull up and I go, buddy, what are you doing? So,
he's on the line or he's laboring?
He's a laborer.
He's a laborer. So the boards are all full and the brick is all there?
At times, yes. At times, no. I'd pull up and I'd see he's on his phone. I'd give him shit.
If the boards are not full and brick's not there, I'd be upset.
I'd leave, yeah. There was times where I lost it. I like to say I'm relatively easygoing, and the reason is I worked with a lot of cocksuckers in my life, and I'm gonna say that, you know. And I always said to myself, I'm not gonna be that guy. I'm not gonna be that guy. And abuse. I've heard that abuse creates journeyman. That's not necessarily true, man. You know what I mean? There's a level of, listen, masonry is a fast-paced work environment. It's a go. So there's material has to go on the wall.
Yeah.
We get paid per brick as owners. We get paid per brick. We get paid per square footage. These guys need to put in, it's a fast-paced work environment. You got to get on, and material has to go on the wall. So if you're not keeping up.
Do the hourly paid individuals realize that everything is by brick, by square? They're aware of it?
They do. We've got quotas, you know what I mean? And I'm understanding, you know, you get into challenging situations, lack of access, hand bomb stuff. I get that stuff.
It's a job
it's accounted for.
Yeah,
certain things are when I pull up to a job and it's like, okay, well, we're not getting our machine in here. Everything's hand bomb, this whole job. We're going to do it. We're not going to say, oh, I'm sorry.
Well, that's when you get promoted from being a laborer to manual laborer.
Yeah, it's back to...
I've seen you guys work really hard, and it's just like challenging, and stuff is difficult, and you can't get the machinery to where you really want it to get to. And then you got to build a scaffold one section at a time. You can't just lift it and then move it to the next wall.
That's right.
It's hard, but
that only happens on larger subdivision projects where you've got to
take the whole thing and
shit ton of access. Everywhere else,
when you're
each
doing
individual piece goes up, each individual piece gets moved.
Yeah, that's all. It's also a safety thing, right?
Yeah.
You can't just be trying to get faster and risking things, right? You
gotta have the room to. You gotta have the room to operate like that, to pick up a scaffold with the forklift. You're not trying to squeeze in somewhere, and you know. Don't get me wrong. We've squeezed into some tight. We've gotten into some tight places.
We've done that as well too.
Tight places, and you maneuver things around, but for the most part, when you get onto a custom home in a city or something, yeah, you're hand bomb everything.
You're fighting so many elements, man.
That's what comes with the territory. That's part of the job.
Why are they? Because
take the good with the bad.
To be honest, there, Luke, is that the majority of your labor force is getting younger by the year.
I know.
But why are they getting into your labor, your trade? Because it's one of the hardest ones. Are they getting it because of dollar values that they hear from the networking?
That's what it is.
It's a dollar value, the entry dollar value.
Yeah, guys are not going to come do your job for a lower hourly wage. Where nobody's doing our job for $15 an hour.
No,
they're not. You're not getting anybody working minimum wage. Nobody's going to come. They wouldn't be at the right, and understandably so. I wouldn't do that job for minimum wage.
It's a disrespect to the trade. It's a disrespect to the industry.
So, you want to compensate these guys accordingly. You say, listen, okay, you make good money, but there's things that are involved, and you have to, keep up with the standards of what's needed to be done. It's stay on top of your shit. And what can we say? If some guys pan out, some guys don't. And the guys that do pan out, they get taken care of, man. I do. I have no problem paying a guy top dollar if he's worth every penny. Right?
He's performing.
Performance. There's no bullshit. He's excited to do the job. I've got one guy been with me since day one, man. He learns, and he's excited to be there every day. Not to say we don't have tough days. Some days are tougher than others. Some days are easier than others. But he's open to learning, man. He wants to absorb the knowledge. He's good shit, man. I wish more people were like that. Some guys are just not open to it at all. What's his name?
Yeah.
Cam.
Cam?
Yeah.
What's his background?
He's Canadian.
Canadian guy?
Canadian
kid?
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah. He's a good kid. He's been with me since the beginning. And
how'd you find him? Or he found you?
We were friends. We met along the way. Been in rehab.
Okay. All right.
Been in rehab.
Okay.
Spent some time.
Listen, Luke, I'm just going to say there's nothing to be ashamed about. Like, I don't think everyone has their demon.
I'm not ashamed.
No, I know. I don't want anybody to think that's what I'm thinking or anything like that. There's nothing to do that. I have respect for you as a tradesperson, and I don't know much about you. I know that you hinted a little bit at the demons that you fought, but you fought them, and it seems like you're coming back, right? So I want to, you divulge how much you want to divulge there, but if you met them at rehab, then we've had other people have been on the show, and they met certain people, and they got businesses off the ground because they met certain people.
Met in rehab, we connected.
Yeah.
he was working, doing a job. They weren't providing him enough hours. I was doing, like I said, it started off as a side thing. He would come out and help me out on weekends. So he came on board because my cousin passed away. My cousin was essentially, if he was here today, he'd be sitting with us. This was a thing that was happening together.
Your age too?
He was younger than me by 4 years. So this was a thing that was, we were going to do this thing together. And he ended up passing away. Unfortunately, he didn't succumb his demons as it didn't work for him as it did for me. I guess he wasn't just, wasn't for the girl upstairs didn't want it to happen. It wasn't meant to be.
What was his name?
Mikey. So, he was my right hand, we can say. We were each other's right hand. And after he passed, an opportunity came up where I needed help and stuff like that. And Cam stepped up and he says, "Yeah, buddy, I'll come out. I'll give you a hand." He was green. He didn't know a thing. He was open to learn. Frustrating as fuck. I could have killed each other some days.
But you saw potential?
He was great. He asked the right questions. He didn't ask the same question over and over. So we started doing houses, the two of us, just the two of us. We'd lay. Start off in the morning. I'd mix. He'd prep the scaffold. I'd put in my square footage for the day to cover our costs and put a little bit of money in return.
Rules, compliance, regulations. These are all super critical things. We use tools that require high safety standards. We have to meet compliance and regulations at all times, not just for governmental issues, but to avoid putting out employees at risk. Every tool requires a different kind of training and understanding of how to operate it safely. Every rule needs to be fully understood. We need to know who's qualified to do certain jobs and who's not. All these are important things we managers must take care of to keep safety high at all times. Now, getting it done is way harder than talking about it, but luckily there's a platform I found that can help you out with everything I just mentioned. A great software called ConnectTeam, which has training and quizzes that you can build in any way you'd like to make sure your employees always know how to handle certain tools. You can see who's done at a certain course or quiz and who didn't complete it and can't work with a certain tool until they do. You also have the ability to update if there's a new regulation you need everybody to be aware of ASAP. And there's a simple overview screen to track who saw it. Plus, ConnectTeam Schedule allows you to add limitations for certain jobs. So if one of your employees is not qualified to do a certain job, the system will automatically notify you about it. The platform offers a lot more, such as easy access to playbooks and hazard reports. Just check them out for yourself. ConnectTeam has a free plan and a 14-day free trial. Try them today by checking out the link in the show notes. Just the two of you guys?
Yeah, doing stone fronts on houses and skirts and stuff like that.
A lot of work for two guys.
By 2 o'clock, I'd be done laying from 2 to 4 or 5 o'clock. We'd prep and set up for the next day. Come in the morning, do it all over again. Did some time like that, and then slowly get one extra guy, another guy, and it's evolved. We have a decent sized group of guys now. We branched off, started a concrete sector. We've always done concrete. It was just something we weren't selling regularly. It was kind of like if we were on a project doing masonry and somebody hinted, "Hey, I need a garage pad poured." Yeah, we could do that for you. You know what I mean? But we weren't putting it out there and advertising that we're doing concrete. As we did, we took it to next level last year, and we decided that that is a service we're going to sell. I brought on a partner for the concrete side. Gentleman's got lots of experience. He was doing foundations for large outfits, flat
Italian
work.
or Portuguese?
Canadian.
Canadian? Where are all these Canadian guys coming from?
Yeah, we've got a mixed bag of guys. Canadians, quite a few Canadians, a couple English boys, a few Mexican boys.
Mm-hmm.
How many Europeans actually? Our crew.
The landscape has changed, dude. When I was growing up with my dad,
We got another Polish bricklayer.
Yeah, it was all Portuguese and Italian, the same way that you probably expressed from what your dad was saying. I think nowadays you're getting all kinds of people getting into masonry and concrete work, and they have some serious skills. And I have a lot of respect for them because they know how hard it is and how hard they have to be to work it. So I got a lot of respect for them. Doesn't matter what cultural background you're coming from. You hitting the stone, you hitting the concrete, you hitting the masonry. I got respect for you, man.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Right.
A lot of South Americans coming up right now, which are in the trade. They work hard. They do stuff. They're in a South American country. They do a lot of block work. So they've got high skills in block. They just do a lot of covered block, like rough walls, because they get parged after and covered and stuff. So
old school way of doing it. Yeah,
they put them in. They build walls straight, everything. In the beginning, we had to just adjust them on the quality standard. Like, okay, guys, you gotta be a little.
Because our stuff isn't purged. Yeah,
our stuff isn't purged. Our walls aren't covered. We do have, for instance, firewalls and stuff like that. You don't see.
Yeah.
But you get into paint grade, finished block. You got to be a little more meticulous, and we had to just adjust. Be like, listen, show them like, listen, you lay block wall, you lay block straight, you lay them quickly. Just you have to up the skills on the finished product, and it started off. I guess some habits were harder to break. We had to give shit a little bit, but then also the more experienced guy would come over, and we're understanding. So showed them how to do it. Eventually, they picked up the skills, and they're phenomenal. Some of them are phenomenal bricklayers right now, man.
Listen, Mexicans built the pyramids where they built the pyramids, and nobody ever questioned who built those pyramids, right?
That's right.
Right? They always think that the aliens built the other ones in Egypt there, but nobody's questioning the Mexicans who built those ones, right? So I don't have a problem with them coming here and building stuff out of stone or rubble or anything like that. I totally believe they have the skill, which is great. And if they work with the right crew, build a solid brand, and they understand the objective and what's going on, it's a hard job, man.
It is.
It's a hard job.
It's
a very rewarding job, but it's a hard job.
Listen, I started off, like I said, as a laborer, then an operator, and then I got an opportunity to go on the tools.
Stay a little closer. Just bring it closer to you.
So then I got an opportunity to go on the tools, and I would have to jump on. I developed my skills, and they weren't sharp from the get-go.
No.
And that was
nobody. I have not met.
You can't pick up a guy.
No.
So time has to progress. And I always tell guys, learn to be good first before you become quick. Everybody's like, you got to be fast. Well, yes, okay, I understand.
There.
From my point of view, I need these guys to produce. But I need quality. And that's the thing about masonry. There's that fine balance, that scale you're always balancing. If guys are pumping them in too quick, it looks like shit. Guys take their sweet ass time, they're not laying enough bricks. So they say, the boss is never fucking happy. Well, it's that fine-tuned line. You got to pump them in, and they got to look good.
They'll get there.
Yeah, they do.
I want to ask you, Luke, when your dad left the business and you're basically coming in your own, did he leave it?
Father never left the business.
Well, officially.
He helps me quite a bit.
Does he still work at it?
Yeah, he officially retired in December from the company he was
working for. But he's still on the board.
He's my go-to sometimes. My father was a high-rise foreman for a lot of years, and he's got head's filled with a lot of knowledge. He's got good problem-solving skills. I believe I've gathered a substantial amount of information from him, working with him throughout the years, on and off. So when I'm unsure about something, or I come into a challenging situation and I'm questioning or second guessing myself, I'll spitball it by him, and we talk it out. And then there's always a solution. Sometimes he's got a really good idea. Sometimes I feel my way's better, and I do what I got to do.
No, I remember those times. Yeah. I remember those times. What I was trying to get at was, like, did he, towards the end of his career, look at the industry that it's better now, versus he's looking at your opportunity and how when you get to the end of your career, is it going to be better for you? Or is the industry in general, and I'm talking masonry in general, is it getting worse?
Not sure about his views on that. I've never really...
Curious about it.
I'll have to...
Because they all went in at a certain time. In the 80s, they would have came in at a certain time. Canada was a different place. Projects were different at that time. Like you said, and I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. They are a bunch of fucking bitches, right? It's a different landscape now.
Yeah.
And it's a shame, because there's such opportunity in this country that we should be nurturing these trades, these individuals.
I think
these projects, man.
Listen, projects are not moving. They're we don't have the skilled labor that we had before. It's there's a select few guys on site that essentially carry the weight of everybody.
The majority.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys, a lot of the older guys that are still in the industry. They have a head full of knowledge. They've got understanding. They've been through similar situations when something arises on a site, so they're able to share that knowledge. The young guys, and some of them coming in, they're not even open to even thinking about they focus on the problem. Oh, it's fucked. I just can't do it.
Are they more interested in the exit?
I'm not sure what they're interested in.
Or not the growth? They're not interested in the growth?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they're interested in, man. They just, I think for people right now, a lot of guys, it's a paycheck, man. Come in, milk the fucking hours, get a paycheck, take it home to the family. You know, it doesn't stretch as far as it used to in the olden day, like the years that my father came in. And my father told me that when he
I know exactly what you're about to say.
In the 90s, the value of his weekly paycheck, what he could pay, cover his rent, food left over for money to buy food. He could do that out of one paycheck a month, where today, you know, some people are using 2-3 paychecks a month just to cover their housing. So how far does that dollar stretch? So I don't know. I think that also creates the fact that guys are not interested in learning. Their sole focus is providing, and they're like, I gotta make money, man. I gotta make money. I don't care about anything else. Luke, I think that's what it is.
What's your day-to-day fear?
My day-to-day fear?
Yeah.
Not sure.
There aren't any, or what? Like, are you not worried that the workforce, everyone could talk all they want about, oh, we don't have the labor force. We don't have the skilled labor force. We don't have, we need more. We need more, all this other crap. But we can keep on chirping that shit all you want.
You know what?
It's not what we need.
I'm not afraid of it, because I'm selective. When guys don't mesh well, they don't stay.
They move on.
They don't stay.
But you get a lot of people in this business that are in fear of, I can't find somebody else, so I have to hang on to what I have.
I've been in that situation where it's like I hold on to a guy because he may. It's more laborers. Bricklayers, when they just don't have the skills, they have to go because they're the finished product. They're the finished.
You can't risk that.
So the bricklayers have to have the skills. Now with the laborers, if they're not meshing well, unfortunately they have to go. It's and I have kept certain guys a few times for longer than they should have stayed until I found a replacement. Because even though at times he's not the most highly skilled worker, he's a set of hands, and he can still help. He still does things. He still works. Standard level, man. I got high standards. I have high expectations. Listen, I know what I went through as a laborer, and I know what was expected of me. And I think I project those same expectations on the guys because I have a little bit of that, I guess, that old school training that's the system, man. That's what makes this ship steer efficiently.
Can you teach that though?
Yeah, it takes a lot of patience. I have a few guys that were on board that in the beginning I wasn't sure if they were going to make it, and they surprised me and came out on top. Patience. I got to practice a lot of patience when it comes to that, you know. And I find for me is if I'm not repeating the same stuff over and over, I'll give the guy the patience. But if he's relearning the same fucking things day in, day out,
he's not paying attention.
It's not working. He's not absorbing the information.
Yeah.
If I notice that a guy he comes in completely green, he doesn't understand, but he asks the right questions and he's working efficiently, and you can tell that, you know, he's interested, then he doesn't have to be the most skilled of labor today. But I know if I give him the time, give him another month, yeah, I've had guys after 4 or 5 months turn out to be amazing, and they really start grasping it. And it's a tough job to start out, especially when you come in and you don't know what something is. There's, you know, go grab me this, go grab me this, go grab me that, and the guy's like, okay, I don't know. You got to explain to them, hey, that's what this is, that's what that is. We go like this, we put our bricks here. That's a guy coming in completely green.
Mm-hmm.
The guy shows up and tells me he's got 4 or 5 years experience. And I got to explain to him what a wall tie is. You don't got 4 or 5 years experience. And I don't have patience for you. Because A, you lied to me. Because A, you lied to me. You told me you had 4 or 5 years experience. I had a guy show up years back, and this was before I worked, and I showed up, and we're sitting in the shack down in the basement before we started in the morning. Everybody's having their coffee, getting ready, toolboxes, grabbing their stuff, and shows up, and you go, oh, there's new labor, blah, blah. And the guys were shooting the shit. I was kind of standing on the sideline. Yeah, I've been doing this 3 years, blah, 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 blah. Cool. Don't think nothing of it. We get upstairs, and I hear one of the guys say, hey, go grab 2 mortar boards. Okay. He goes off. He comes back, and I hear the guy yelling. I look over, and he's like, this is what they call the mortar board at my other company. The guy brought him a plank. And but you have 2-3 years experience. No, buddy, I don't care what company you worked for. A mortar board's a mortar board. A mortar board's a mortar board. A plank's a plank.
Maybe,
you lie. You don't have 2-3 years experience.
Maybe Stevie Wonder Masonry would have fucking called it a mortar board.
So
time to sign up for Phil, the free construction marketplace and load tracking app for developers, engineers, and all contractors working in the civil construction industry. One other thing to mention is business and facility listings. Phil has the most complete database of quarries, pits, plants, and depots in Ontario, including all of the big names. So if you're looking for concrete, stone, asphalt, whatever, you'll be able to find it. You can also add your business listing or claim it. It might already be on the map. Sign up for free on the website at www.getphil.app. That's www.getphil.app. You can also search Phil in the App Store.
Those are like red flags, right? Not even red flags. You just know right away, this guy has no experience. And he just lied his way into it.
But why did he say 4 or 5 years? I don't understand. He's going to get caught right away.
I don't know. Maybe guys think that they can get compensated a higher amount. If they say, hey, listen, I've got no experience. All right, well, we're going to start you off at this kind of, because that does happen. We're going to start you off at less money, and we'll give you an opportunity to learn. I've done it. I have. You know, a guy tells me he's completely green, and you could tell that he's got some drive and he's hungry. Yeah, you come in. You know, listen, I'm not going to pay you experience top fucking rate, but you can build to that. You can get to that.
Why can't they come in and work for free on the first half of the day, the morning? Work till noon.
That doesn't happen. I'm gonna go back to my father. Father laid his first bricks, fucking working for free for a guy.
That's what I mean. Why can't they do that then?
I heard stories like that from a lot of older guys. My father was one of them. My father's buddy was another of them. Couple older gentlemen that when I was starting off in the industry, they were like 50s, 60s, well retired now. You know, if they're even still around, and I've heard those stories too. Like they would show up. And they would show up in a time where there wasn't a lot of work happening, and guys
had to fight for this.
Guys were a little reluctant to pay high wages, and they would say, "Listen, let me come in. I'll work for the day for free. I'll show you my skills. If you want to keep me, you keep me. If you don't like it, I'll go to the next place and work for free somewhere else.
No harm, no foul.
No harm, no foul." And they were okay with that. That's how. That was the resume. I showed up and I worked for free for a day, and you tell me if I'm good enough to stay. That doesn't happen.
But that's not happening today.
That's not happening today.
Are you still on the line? You still laying bricks? Are you managing the business?
No, I try. I try to jump on every now and again. I feel like I get in the way. This gets in the way.
Yeah, you're running a business.
It becomes counterproductive.
Yeah,
and I still do grab my tools. I do what needs to get done. If I got to jump on the line and lay bricks, I'll do it.
What's with all you masons lately being on the show, and I see your phones and there's no masonry or nothing on it. It's just completely clean. What's going on there, man?
What do you mean? Should I take the case off? It's covered.
All the boys, everybody that's been on, there's a little bit of masonry dust in there, but
she gets in. It's there. It's under the case.
How do you say cement in Polish?
Zaprawa.
Zaprawa. Zaprawa. What's the street name for cement on the? Is it the same?
I don't know.
Well, you know the Italians go massa, Portuguese go massa.
Massa's the go-to for everybody, I think.
Okay, so that's what it's going. Everybody,
even
the South Americans and Mexicans,
even for us Polacks on the site, because you start off and everybody's yelling massa. So it's fucking massa. I don't even. I didn't know it was mortar until like 4 years into it. Mortar? What's mortar? Massa. Oh, okay. So you just even certain things, you know. Certain thing. Go get weepage. What the fuck's a weepage?
Weepage?
Yeah, the weepers.
Oh, the
guys
weepers.
Guys have access. Yeah, go get the weepage.
Weepage.
Go get the weepage. I don't know. Yeah, we got a weepage.
You got to give it the zhuzh. You know, the weepage.
Everybody's got an accent. That's the industry, right?
What else? Well, boards are still called boards, and planks are still called planks.
Mortar boards are not called mortar boards.
What are they called?
Motherboards.
Motherboards?
Motherboard. Go get the motherboard. That's how it is. That's how it is.
Man, I miss those days. I miss hearing that shit on the site, man. I love that.
It's the foreign languages, man. It's all mixed together.
I know, but when I hear it, it's the brother and the sisterhood. That's what I hear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like an entry. It's an entry into the industry, right? So once they start speaking to you that way, then they're like, okay, I'm one of them, kind of thing. I'm becoming one of them.
If you come in green and you don't know a technical word and you're working with a lot of guys that don't speak the English language, English isn't the first language, and they're saying it in their own language, you learn that these things are called whatever they're called, whether he gives it to you in Portuguese, Italian, Chinese, French, whatever, that's what it's called. And we don't know any better until and there's a lot of things, there's a few things that I didn't actually know were called something. So I started operating my own business and I started having to go buy them. And I'm asking the guy for them, because what the fuck is that? I said, what the fuck?
They've never been on a site,
Yeah,
so they don't know.
What the fuck is that?
They're flipping through the binder going, what the?
I can't remember.
I'm at M. I can't find it.
I think it was fishtails. Fishtails.
Fishtails?
Fishtails. I needed a box of fishtails. That's what it was. And that's what we call them, fishtails, because they're wall ties that go into a concrete track. That you put in. It's called a fishtail. But no, they actually got like some code number.
What's the technical name?
Some code number. I don't even remember it. It's still a fishtail to me because that's what it is. It's a fishtail.
Brick ties are still brick ties, though.
Still brick ties.
I think it's every language is brick ties. Or is it ties? Just brick ties.
Voltage.
Voltage?
Go get the voltage.
The voltage.
Yeah.
The voltage.
That's how it is.
But it's not trowel. What's the word for trowel?
Trowel's a trowel. It's always been a trowel.
No, my dad never called it he called it a...
I know a wheelbarrow's not a wheelbarrow.
No, what is it?
It's a carriola.
No, I'm telling you, the trowel, Portuguese, man. Everybody's like, I'm trying to figure out. It's almost like a derivative of like spoon or fork or something like that. It's
spatula.
It's something like that. It's something. I'm trying to fucking. Everyone's just rolling their eyes now that are like, I can't think of it, but it's not called trowel.
I've never heard anything.
No, Portuguese call it something else. Probably the Italians call it something else as well too.
Can't think of it.
What are you guys all Rose? You're all Rose, or you're Marshall? Rose, right?
I started on a Marshall.
Am I wrong to say? I think the brick chick is the only one that's a Marshall. I'm not actually sure. I could be wrong. I don't know. She might be a Rose. I'm not sure.
I think the brick chick.
What is she?
I think she might be a Marshall.
I think she's a Marshall, to be honest.
I started with a Marshalltown. I liked the grip feature on it. I thought it was thing, but then you put a rose in your hand and
it's a different story.
Yeah, it's now we're working with Cadillacs. You know what I mean? Opposed to a little Honda. You get a nice little move. You start getting a good flow. You're like, ooh.
Marshalltown being compared to a Honda Civic.
No, there's nothing wrong with the trowel. It's
whatever works for you.
What feels comfortable in your hand, right?
Yeah.
So
that's all it is, man. And everyone's got to get used to it. That's all it is, right?
As long as they're not showing up with the Home Depot margin trowel, little tiny thing. Man, by all means, you could do whatever you do.
We're not tiling here. What's wrong with you? Get out of here.
It happens.
It happens, really? They think that brand new too, right? There's not a speck of mortar on it.
I've seen a guy claim bricklaying experience, show up with a carpenter's hammer to cut brick. True story.
Who was it?
Show up with a claw hammer.
Who was on had a roofing? Was it a roofing hammer? I can't remember. Someone showed up with a roofing hammer.
I've seen guys use roofing hammers.
Why? Because it's got a hatchet on it.
Can I tell you something? He uses it, and he's a quality bricklayer. One of my guys actually has one. He's got both.
E-swing, right?
But he does. But he does have a hatchet, and so he's surprisingly good with it. Yeah, he's surprisingly good with it. So I grabbed it. I feel it. I tried. It's
not the same thing.
It's not, because I think it's just something you get used to, right?
Your mason hammer, is it wood handle or is it
wood
E-swing? It's wood handle.
Yeah. So
you break it often?
Or
you just repairing it and just spiking it in?
For dip it in water. You let it expand. Put a couple spikes in. Then they get to a point where the handle
they're
gets
done.
They get too short, and you got to replace them.
Yeah, they're done.
But wooden handle's the way to go. I used the steel E-swing for a lot of years, and carpal tunnel in my hand starts coming out from cutting bricks. My fingers started locking up. The wooden handle absorbs some of the vibration. It's got less of an impact. It does. People, some people don't realize it, but on the long term,
it does.
I'm 40, man. I feel my hands. Sometimes I'll cut it, even with the wood one still. I'll still cut it sometimes, and I'll get like a little zap, and then for like 2-3 days, I'm like, I got trouble moving my fingers, and then I'm okay. And then 6 months, I won't feel nothing, and then I'll go cut that one brick, and she locks up for like a day or two.
Am I like, Luke? Am I weird to, like, when I walk into a mason supply place, and I see all the separate handles, just the individual replacement handles, right? It puts a smile on my face. I don't know why.
Does it?
It does. Something about it just puts a smile on my face. Because I know that's going to get put into the actual, the steel part of the hammer, right? The mason's hammer. That could last forever.
Do you know that a brand new hammer is no good?
Why?
It's too sharp.
It's way too sharp?
Yeah, it's gotta...
You're gonna like obliterate the brick?
It's too sharp. Like,
you gotta dull it.
Guys, when you buy a new hammer, it takes a little adjusting. You gotta it's almost like you gotta relearn how to cut a brick properly because it's brand new. It's too sharp. It's got its edge. I don't even start cutting brick with it. I'll take it and I'll smack the cutting
on the
piece,
concrete,
dull it up a little bit.
Just dull it up.
I want to be able to hit it in the right.
See, I've only ever used a used hammer. I've never used a new hammer.
They cut. Don't get me wrong. They work. You just, if you hit it too hard, it breaks. For me, a dull hammer sometimes cuts a lot better than guys sharpen. I can't sharpen it. I like dull. You just got to hit the sweet spot, and it cracks right where you want it to. So, it's not. You have to feel the stone. You got to feel the brick. I don't work with gloves when I'm laying.
No, a lot of guys.
I got to feel it. I got to feel the material, especially stone. You know, you grab a natural stone, and it's like, okay, you got to see it. You got to see the grooves in it, and you're sitting there. You got your chisel. You're like, okay, pop here, pop there. All right, she's good. Now I can put it in. You know what I mean? It's little meticulous work.
But that's how it's hard
simple
on
pleasures.
You. It is, and then there's satisfaction when you see it in place, and then you see the finished product.
You know, one stone on a wall is nothing, but you do the whole scale. You step back, and you're like, yeah, fuck, it looks good.
Beautiful.
It looks good
at that point. Then you guys have the hardest job. I don't care. I'll keep on saying you guys have the hardest trade.
You think so?
Give me another one that's harder. There's some that are close, like concrete.
I think the guys that do power lines, and the reason I believe their job is difficult because it doesn't matter if there's fucking 3 feet of fucking snow. The power lines went down. We're fucking putting them back up, and they're out there.
That's a hard one.
They got that's difficult. It's pissing rain. They're out there. Us bricklayers, as soon as there's a fucking drop.
Yeah, you guys shut it down. You guys shut it down. Or you tent it up and you get ready, but then now you got to keep the sand warm, keep this shit warm, warm.
That's winter work, yeah.
Yeah, that's all winter work at that point, right?
Yeah.
It's a hard trade, and it's just, I'd almost wish the government have some more incentive to get the kids in there, man, like proper incentive. I'm telling you right now, like I still am on this whole kick about like guys like your dad, a mentorship program. Get your dad to be compensated by the government to train the next generation of Masons out there. Train them properly.
They have the masonry schools and stuff like that.
Are the old timers there?
I always learned on the job site, and hands on. I never took a course. I know they do have the courses. I've met a few guys that have come out of it. They need to do more like on-site training, man. Like longer periods of on-site training, because a lot of guys come out. I've had guys call me like, I'm a Red Seal bricklayer. Like, oh, that's great. That's great. How long have you worked on a job site? I'm like, I just finished school 2 months ago. Like, okay, you're a Red Seal bricklayer. That's awesome. You got credentials. You've got the basic fundamental skills to lay brick.
Yep.
But by no means are you a bricklayer. By no means. And I say bricklayer, but by no means are you a mason, because there's a difference between a mason and a bricklayer. A bricklayer lays fucking bricks to a line. A mason, whether the bricks on the floor and we're doing flagstone, the bricks, the stone, the block, you're diverse. You're able to do all aspects of the masonry industry. So when you're classifying yourself as a mason, I should be able to say, okay, we're doing flagstone today. And you're like, yeah, no problem, I got that. But not like a flagstone. I've never done flagstone. Like we're gonna go do some. We're gonna do floor. We're gonna do some block. Start huffing and puffing. Yeah, I don't really. I've always done brick. You're a bricklayer. You're not a mason. There's a huge difference, and I've always embraced a new challenge. Like like fuck whatever. I have a friend, Joe. God rest his soul. He used to take a lot of flagstone jobs, and he needed always a helper when I was younger, and we worked well together, and taught me everything I know how to do flagstone, man. And I took those skills, and I try to share that knowledge with other guys that I'm working with. But guys are not open flagstone. Nobody likes to be on their fucking knees. They're like, oh, I'm on my knees the whole time, buddy. They're stones. The pattern is similar. Okay, some are square cut, some are just
random,
but it's a stone, man. You still got to chisel it. You still got to face it. It's essentially the same. You run, you put your level on it. You still got to make sure it's straight. Just that it's a big piece. You're okay doing copings on a parapet, but you're not going to lay flagstone on steps.
What is it? Because they don't want to be on their knees?
Maybe that's what it is. I think that's a big part of it, guys.
Construction pros, brace yourselves for a revolutionary experience. HTGNA, your ultimate destination for state-of-the-art concrete floor preparation equipment, is about to change the game. Our motto, surface preparation is not just a task, it's our expertise, and your satisfaction is a guarantee. HTGNA isn't your average, it's a commitment. Our line of concrete floor preparation equipment stands tall as the epitome of industry excellence. Ready to take your projects to the next level? Dive into htgnorthamerica.com for a glimpse of innovation. Lock in a demo now and immerse yourself in the HTG NA experience. HTG North America, surface preparation equipment is our expertise, your satisfaction, our guarantee. You think the Restio program should also include being a mason on a site, factoring in all stages of weather and also all different types of stone? Should that be a part of the program?
I'm not gonna get into what should be in the program because I've never taken the program, so I don't really know 100% what's involved in the program. I have an idea of what they do. They build arches. They teach them a lot of theory. Teach them how to spread mortar. Make sure they're laying. Make sure.
But all in a confined, safe.
In a confined space, and it's not a realistic environment.
No,
it's they've got, like I said, basic skills to get them on a site, but then they're going to get onto a wall. They're going to say, yeah, I'm a bricklayer. They're going to get hired for a company. They're going to stand, they're going to get on the wall between Joe and Jeff, and these guys are going to be doing cartwheels around them, and he's still going to be asking questions. Well, you took a program. You should know certain things. And I think there should be more experienced bricklayers that come in and actually work with these guys, so they know what it's like to work next to an experienced. That's where you get your training is on site. So maybe
see. That's why I included the weather training as well too, because
it's difficult to say.
It's difficult to lay in colder climes. It's difficult to lay in hotter climes.
We when it reaches a cuff where it's just too cold. Doesn't matter how many how well we're sealed, how many propane heaters we're gonna pump. Mortar's freezing. The
mortar's freezing. Those are the extremes, right? When we start getting the classic February that's like -20 or whatever it is, I get it. You shut it down. There's no reason. You just maintain what's already been laid and keep it warm, and then let it cure, and that's it. But to continue, no. If it's gonna be like a blistering cold week,
my personal opinion, maybe I shouldn't say this. Masonry should shut down in the winter altogether.
It's Canada. You can't, man. You would lose a lot of talented people for good because they would go to another trade.
That's right.
That's the problem if you did that. You have to keep it maintained. Subdivisions wouldn't be able to move forward.
No, the big builders have their schedules. They want to move forward. They cover the heat. I get it. We cover it. We're heating. we're in that -5, -10 inside the tarps is beautiful. I've been -15 outside.
Oh, it's so comfortable.
And I'm in a t-shirt, and you're in a t-shirt.
Other than the sound of tarp flapping.
If you're sealed off properly, 2, 3. Once you start getting, especially on the higher levels, it's warm up there. You can work in a t-shirt.
Yeah, I know.
It gets warm.
It's comfortable.
Yeah, masonry. You can't deliver the same quality product in the winter as you do in the summer.
I agree with you. It's slower. Like, it's definitely slower, but it keeps the industry moving. And when you're building subdivisions on a 19-week schedule from the time they break ground to the time they turn key, half of that is sometimes in the winter.
Yeah.
So you got to get the roof on, you got to get the bricks on, so then you can start getting a bunch of stuff in there to seal it up and start doing the inside at that point. Yeah. I get it. If you don't, then you got a whole subdivision that's going to sit there quietly. It's like a ghost town at that point.
That's right.
It's just to continue the workforce, right?
I know it is.
What?
Am I moving?
No, you just got to line up with the microphone. She just looks at the levels there. That's all it is. That's it. It's perfect. You know what, though? Out west is the same problem. Out west has got all the rain.
Yeah.
But then again, out west is not doing that much masonry.
They do a lot of siding.
Yeah.
But
wood, ACM, things like that.
They do a lot of stone.
They still do. Oh, that's true.
They do a lot of stone.
Yeah, they're getting face accent major parts, skirting,
thin veneer skirts, columns and stuff like that.
Then they get into the big monstrous fireplace that goes up 1,000 feet.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
There's very little brick being laid out west. It's mostly and a lot of natural stone.
Yeah,
natural stone.
Yeah, so you literally like, I think it's gonna fit here.
Natural stone is not a lot of people here are using natural stone.
That's an art, man. That's an art. Here you do it up north in the cottage areas, yeah.
We do, but even now with all these man-made products, I'm not gonna.
Are you a fan? I don't think I'm not.
Man-made products.
They look great. They don't feel like real stone.
They're not like I don't want to say the company, but there's ones that look more like real stone.
Yeah.
But there's ones that look like concrete pieces.
Yeah.
So, and it's a budget thing. Natural stone isn't cheap. The material alone isn't cheap. The time it takes us to install a natural stone, where you're, like I said, you're working every stone, you're chiseling and cutting every single piece before you lay it, opposed to a product that comes right off a skid and you're grabbing it and essentially laying it like brick. And as long as you don't have short runs and returns, you shouldn't even have to cut any pieces. They're ones that we have to face corners.
Yeah.
And you're doing cutting, but there's natural stone is twice, if not 3 times longer the install process than a man-made product.
You ever see those old videos with the old masons and doing the brickwork in the houses the way they did it back in the 40s and the 50s?
Yeah, I come across them all.
I love
the way they used to do drywall, the way they used to frame, the double masonry houses.
The clothing that the guys were wearing, the trades then, and how they were just scooping it up on the plywood,
on the little carrier with the V-shaped one. Yeah, those things. Up
the ladders.
I have a couple of English guys that work with us, and they say back home they still use those. Over here, we don't use those. I've never seen one of those on the job site here in my life since I was young.
No, not here, but I believe it in there, yeah, for sure.
They still use them. Their whole process is different too. They use different kind of scaffolding. They use a lot more of the stuff what we use here, like the engineered scaffold, big platforms. They get paid differently. They get paid for sections of walls at a time. He was explaining to me.
Really?
Yeah. Even the employees, they get paid per cube of how much bricks they lay, or per 1,000 bricks they lay. So a skid will have X amount of bricks on it. When you're done laying that skid, you get compensated for that. He says there are hourly employees, but for the most part, guys are getting paid for their piece.
They're also putting in. Are they not? I think, I don't know this for certain, but someone could call it out on me. I think their training is longer, when they're going through the school process of.
Not 100% sure about that one.
I think that they are like. There's more extensive going on. I know on the carpentry side is when you get there over to the UK, carpentry encompasses framing and trim carpentry.
So I was talking to one of the guys, and he says that, how we used to build double masonry homes.
Yeah,
they're still building double masonry homes too. The English people haven't opened up and said that they think
stick
framing houses is like a garbage product. Like, yeah, we don't want that. We want the double masonry. So they're still building everything double masonry for the most part. And then obviously you get to like larger scale stuff where they're framing and doing just facade veneer on the outside, non-structural. But everything's being built with 4-inch block interior walls, brick on the outside. They're still building the old-fashioned way, the way we used to build a lot of the houses that are down in the downtown, the old downtown core, beaches, and you get into those neighborhoods. All double masonry, old houses.
We've all worked on those. We've seen those. We've discovered those. I mean, those houses they're still stable. They're still level. They're still plumb. They're still good.
Yeah. Some of them seem like they're going to last a lot longer than some of the new stuff that's built.
I'm dreading. Like, mark my words, man. I guarantee you're going to start seeing a lot of the homes that are being built these days. They're going to be like demoed, man. They're going to have to demo them to kind of build a new structure at that point, because they're not going to last. They're not going to, like, there's not 70 years from now, they won't be considered century homes.
No,
they'll never survive that.
I don't think so either. They're built today to produce fast, quick,
cheap. Get them in there, get them out.
At that point, you might as well just be doing prefab modules from China.
Which is kind of funny because, you know, you got the government talking about how we need to be more energy efficient and build this and build that and be conscious of our energy consumption and yada, 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 all that crap. And I'm like, these homes are just like poorly built.
Yeah.
And they meet OBC standards. They meet the National Building Code standards. So you're creating a standard of building it poorly.
They're built with minimal code, and that's it. That's deemed good enough.
Because the truth is, the market can't afford to pay what it really costs to build. That's where you start getting into custom work, right?
Yeah, and then people that have higher budgets they're going to say, okay, well, we want to use the blue skin products on our walls for waterproofing, opposed to a tar paper in the masonry industry, right? Instead of putting tar paper, the cheapest quality product, then you upgrade. You got the Tyvek on the wall, or you're putting the VP 100 blue skin. We'll call it essentially the cream of the crop for vapor barrier on houses now for us. It's the better product, but the price associated with the better product is also there. So now you're like, I can wrap this for, we'll use a number for argument's sake, a couple $100 to a few $1,000s that it's going to cost me to wrap this. So you're like, okay, well, I can save a little bit of money here, and I'm going to get myself a nicer fixture. I'll put the money, that's good enough. It's doing the same thing, but I'll put it into buying myself nicer faucets and a nicer toilet or whatever it is, right? A nicer hardwood on my floor or a nicer tile. People compromise where they're spending their money, I think.
How's the I haven't asked this in a while. Ministry of Labor treating you guys these days? They okay these days?
Surprisingly, I haven't seen them as much as we used to.
Really, yeah? I know they were around during the pandemic years. They were caring about, if we had cleaning stations and that kind of crap.
The last time was about a year and a half ago. We had a run-in with a lady up on the north end. She was pretty tough on everybody across the board. There was some paperwork issues through the builder. There was a stop work order done, understandably so. She just wanted to make sure certain engineering things were involved. Okay. She had an engineer come out and everything. It was closed. Site was closed for a couple weeks. Okay. And after that, everything was in order. Everybody got their paperwork in order.
She repeated her visits?
She'd come back out periodically. They come when they see a bricklayer. That's the first place they go. They come because we're on scaffolding. They come and they check our scaffold.
That's what I mean. That's why I was asking.
That's when they come. That's the first place. They don't go see the electricians. They don't go see the plumbers. They check. They see a scaffold standing. They're coming to see. And I like to keep my equipment in good shape, because when you have equipment that's in good shape, newer planks. Obviously, they get covered in mortar, so they only look new for so long. But if you got a scaffold full of rusty frames, she's coming right to you. If you've got, I can't remember what it is. I think it's 5 or 10% of your equipment can be older equipment mixed in, like
the frames and the boards.
Like, for instance, because equipment gets bent. Sometimes a brace gets bent with the forklift, stuff like that. I think it's on your whole scaffold setup, I think it's 5% of equipment is okay to be like
slightly damaged,
slightly defected, right?
Yeah.
So
like new.
So, but if you have a scaffold setup that all your frames are rusty,
it's a different story.
And you're using frames that sat in the farmer's field for years, you know what I mean? They're going to come right to you. So good quality equipment makes a huge difference. They stay off your back. And obviously the proper install. You know, you got to make sure you guys have your guardrails up. Everything's cleated. You know, the screw jacks are nailed down to the mud boards. Like all the little finicky stuff.
Level properly.
All the fucking pins are in the scaffold.
Yeah, pins.
You know, we used to have the pigtail pins.
I remember those.
That just go in. I stopped buying those. Because as soon as somebody the guys go to lift the brackets to lift the planks, the pin goes off, it goes flying, and it ends up. I'm buying bundles of pins. Now I buy the ones that go in and they clip on.
Yeah. The spring ones.
The spring ones. If you got to take it off, you pull it out, you clip it to the frame, it's there. So when you're moving, even when they're taking it apart, you clip it right to the frame. That way, when you go to your next frame, you take the two off, you clip it right back on right away. They're always there. So.
Are the GCs playing well when it gets to? Because I know that most of the time, you get them wanting to get power connected right away. So all of a sudden, you're running the hydro right close to where you guys are still bricklaying sometimes. That's a real tricky area because technically speaking, you got to have protection on line protection, right?
So,
seeking top-tier windows? Look no further. Payne's Window Manufacturing is the ultimate choice for custom builders, contractors, and homeowners. Visit www.paynes.com now to experience the pinnacle of quality and customization. Get your instant custom quote today. Elevate excellence with us. Plus, enjoy nationwide shipping across Canada and the U.S.
I find when we're doing more so customs in the city, we got issue with power lines being, you know, certain areas where it gets a little close for comfort for the machine.
Yeah,
it's not so much for the scaffolding setup because it's usually the main street lines that if they're really close and you got a straight mast, for instance, and it's tall and you're just clearing the power lines because in that for whatever reason. It's just our luck. Right in front of the house we're doing, they dip super low. And then you look down the street and they're like super tight. But right in front of our house, they're dipping down. So
then you got machinery working around there. I just know that a lot of GCs will get this wall going, please. Because they want that corner done so that they can get the line in there so they can start getting power to the house.
So they can put on their power, yeah.
Yeah, right. But the thing is, you guys are still working around there. You're still moving machinery around there. Technically speaking, you should have line protection if Ministry of Labor shows up, then all of a sudden you get, you know, you won't get, well, you might get pinched, but the builder's definitely going to get pinched, right?
They'll probably give us shit that we should know better, obviously. Yeah. And when we're operating a machine, it needs to be it's a big 3 feet or 3 meters.
I think it's 3 meters.
3 meters. I think it's 3 meters. From the line. You can't
basically, make sure you're 10 feet away from it, right? Which you have to break that distance rule, right? Yeah. But you got to work together.
Listen, we all know that sometimes we do some shit.
Of course.
That necessarily isn't by the book, but it doesn't always work by the book, man. There's certain times you get into a challenging situation, and it's like, okay, well, I got to fucking jerry rig something.
That's
the only way. That's the only way I'm getting there is if I got to fucking jerry rig something. I don't have the setup to get into that corner.
That's where I do a little bit of neck stretching, when you start setting up certain things and you're just like just, anybody around here?
Yeah.
Okay, get it done quick, and get out of there, right?
No, it's very common practice.
Yeah.
Come do it on a Saturday. The ministry comes out on a Saturdays now. We've done that. Okay, listen. Come do that on a fucking Saturday. I've had them come in. I've seen them show up on a Saturday. Now they're doing that because I think they're onto us.
Of course. Well,
we do some sketchy. Sometimes we do sketchy shit.
Plus, you get neighbors that will call. I can't stand neighbors that call. Like either. I can't stand what kind of class of people that are like that, where they'll just call and complain about, first of all, legal noise happening in a certain time frame of a day, right? And I mean, I just love standing there and just spitting the rules and regs. I know what the rules and regs are. We're allowed to work here at this time. We're allowed to work on Saturdays. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I'm upsetting your Uber delivery food being delivered this morning. Like, I'm so sorry about that.
I get it. It's 10 after 7. We started 7. I'm
sorry. We gave you a grace period.
Yeah.
We get that you don't understand there's 2 6s in a day. We totally understand that.
My most recent affair is parking.
Toronto's a shithole for
Why are
parking.
you parked in front of my house?
Yeah.
Because you're allowed to park on the street? Like, this is you're in front of my house.
First of all, the sidewalk doesn't belong to you, and the roadway doesn't belong to you.
The sign says I'm allowed to park here.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's quite a few of us here. So I got to park here. They come out to take pictures. It's like,
why don't they ever complain to the client, to the neighbor?
But do you have nothing better to do with your life?
They don't.
To get involved yourself with who's parking where?
It's Karen this and Karen that, man. Like, just why don't you go complain to the neighbor that you hate?
Yeah.
Right? Complain to them. Why are you going to complain to us?
You know, we're just here trying to do a job.
We're trying to like provide for our family, make a living. No different than you guys. I'm sorry. Go back inside the house and do OnlyFans. I don't care. But
whatever it is
we have to do the work. I don't care, man. Do the next video as a brick theme or something. I can loan you some brick if you want.
Those are sometimes that's more challenging than a job is dealing with some.
It's a headache,
especially in the city.
It's a headache.
Parking's a nightmare. Logistics, maneuvering, getting
material
your
in, out,
deliveries. Yeah, it's all a nightmare sometimes. But we account for that time because I know that it comes with downtime. You know, it's not like a build for us like where we come in and we're able to just wrap a house, throw up, get it all set up, and go. No, I know that I got to be dealing with. We're gonna figure out where we got to park. I got to park on Queen Street, and I'm gonna walk 10 minutes back to the site because that's the only parking available. I got to show up at 4 in the morning. I got to get a garbage bin drop up. I got to show up at 4 in the morning, park there, sleep in my car, and chill and wait for people to move out of their parking spaces so they go to work. So I can slap a couple pylons off and say, okay, you can come drop your bin off. I got room for it.
That's the routine. That's how
live load in and out, whatever it is. But
you ever had, Luca, a perfect job, like a unicorn? Nothing went wrong. Everything was good. Perfect. Made money.
I think you get blessed with a good one once a year, every so often. You get blessed with a really good one.
You're getting that. That's good.
Yeah. You get blessed with a good one. You come in, you're like, and I think a big part of it is sometimes people we work with, like certain GCs, they're set up, man. Some guys are organized as fuck, and you show up and it's like, buddy, you guys are on the ball. You actually did everything. That was your obligation. This is beautiful. You guys cleaned the front. You guys cleared the driveway off. Awesome. Like
put gravel down.
The simple things that sometimes make our life so much easier. But organization, I think, is the key to any job site, man. If we show up and we're expected to have room, we come with a lot of equipment.
Of course, you do.
We're
a lot of material, a lot of equipment, a lot of guys.
We're bulky. We're not. I can't pull up in a van, and no disrespect to anybody who does. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just what your trade is. You pull up in a van, you can load up your stuff into a van, pull out a couple pieces at a time, bring them in the house, put them, because that's sometimes. But that's not us, man. I gotta bring a float truck, big machine, drop bundles of scaffold, huge fucking runs along planks. And just my equipment alone, before it gets actually set up, I'm already taking up all the real estate on the front yard, just dropping my stuff off. Then it gets set up. Only then can I call for my deliveries. So now I got piles of brick. We've gotten places where we got to break loads up. You got X amount of brick, and you're breaking it up into 8 deliveries because you can only fit 5-6 skids of brick at a time. That's all the real estate. I got a huge sand pile, mixer.
It's true.
It gets bulky, man.
And if you got a tiny house and you got tiny sides, neighbors tight, everything.
We're doing one right now. Anything that could possibly make our job difficult is included in this job.
Really?
Tight space, both sides neighbors. The worst kind. The worst kind? The worst kind.
Always watching, always looking, always an opinion.
As soon as there's like a speck, we got tarps covering up their property, make sure we're not splashing anything on our house, because mortar splashes, it drips, it falls. Making sure there's not a speck. There's 3 feet between the house. But we're not allowed to put a speck of, we're not allowed to be a centimeter on his property. They just refuse to think. And it makes for a challenging job. Limited space on the front.
How do you get all that mortar?
I got a forklift. That goes like this. 2 feet forward. You can come out to the road. It can only drive forward and backward.
That's it.
And an angle. And that's all it does. It just angles to the left and to the right. Comes out.
Majority of it is all
loads
hand
the scaffold. Oh, it's hand bombed 3 sides of the house. It's a front loader. Everything gets loaded from the back. And it's been a challenging process. There's a lot of big precast pieces. Nowhere to put them. It's got huge precast pieces. Nowhere to put them. I got very little space. Got one skid at a time. They show up and I'm like, okay. So now, because we can't get all this stuff, we're missing pieces. So now I get this piece in, but I don't have this piece. So now I got to work on this side until the next delivery shows up. And it's like, let's just say that it's been a fun process on this one.
It makes you think, man. Yeah. You start problem solving a bunch of ways, man.
Yeah.
I got some more questions here, man. We're not done just yet. Do you get a sense that people wanting to get into your trade are not interested in the struggle? And when I say that, I'm trying to they feel like they're being pushed too many times, too often, to do the monotonous jobs, the laboring jobs, the stuff that it feeds the machine, right? The critical components of any kind of masonry crew, right? And they'll just leave. They'll just jump and they'll just move on, right? But they'll get to another job site that is doing really crappy work, but they got on the line. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like they're not interested in understanding that there's value behind the struggle, is what I'm trying to get at. They're not seeing that?
Not sure, man.
You've seen it. You saw it. You lived through it.
Yeah.
You grew up in it, and you've worked it, and now you're running a business, and you're seeing it, and you're trying to not give them the same amount of struggle. You want to give them more opportunity than you had. But I just get the sense that a lot of these kids are not interested in the struggle, and if something on face value comes across as an easier opportunity, they bail, and they jump, and they'll go.
Yeah, I was talking to a guy recently, and he's been in industry for a long time, working as an operator.
Yeah.
And he's just had enough. He says, you know what, I'm going to go find another job. You're good at what you do. And he's highly skilled. He doesn't work for me, or he works for a competitor of mine. We were talking, and he's good at what he does. I've seen what he does. He's a forklift operator. He's great. Just not interested anymore. I guess maybe they get bored of it, or they want to explore something else, or like you said, maybe they just don't want to do the difficult job anymore. It's possible.
Here's the part 2 to that kind of question, statement, or whatever it is that I bring up, is that how supportive are the significant others in the Mason doing the work? Because I think what happens is that a lot of Masons truly believe in themselves, that they have a skill, they have a craft, and they're proud of that work that they pull off. Even though to the mainstream people, it's very dirty blue-collar work. And sometimes if you find the right or the wrong significant other, the right will support you no matter what. Doesn't matter. You could be a garbage person. You could be whatever. It doesn't matter. They'll be very supportive. But in that Mason's head, they're still thinking he or she deserves better, deserves more. I should give them more. And so they start thinking, I don't want to struggle anymore. I should be doing more and bigger and better, so then I could provide more. You know what I'm saying?
I can't speak for anybody else, but I get a level of satisfaction when a project's complete and the hard work that goes into it, because you get a sense of accomplishment. Like, yeah, man, like that was not fucking easy, but buddy, did we do a good fucking job, man? Like that's something to be proud of. You know what I mean? So, and you're talking about significant others, and I'm going to use mine as an example. She's very supportive, man. She, there's a lot of sacrifice that are put in. She doesn't see me. Like, there's a period of time, more now, we just had a newborn baby.
Oh, congrats.
3.5 months, and I've finally been able, I'm making an effort to be home at an earlier hour. Not scheduling that evening not site visits, but a meeting with a client, just breaking up.
Priorities, man.
So I got to be home at this time. Give her, it's a newborn baby. She doesn't need my assistance, but she's we've been together 5 years now, and essentially she does the back end stuff. Like when it comes to the keyboard, I'm lost. I could smash that thing. I get lost. Things start popping up. I get lost. She helps me out there, and she understands that there's something that's being built here for a bigger picture and a better future for the both of us. This isn't selfish. I'm not doing this because I want to go fucking put in 15, 16-hour days, 6-7 days a week. I always say 25 hours a day, 8 days a week, because that's how it feels like sometimes.
It is. Yeah.
You're going when especially in the summertime, when you get going, you're going, and short-term sacrifices for long-term happiness. That's how I've always said it to myself, that there's things that need to be done in these early stages that 5-10 years from now, I'll eventually see those rewards, the fruits of my labor.
Of course you will.
So
of course you will.
And she understands that. She's been very supportive. Have we had frustrating and challenging times together? Yeah, it has. It does. It takes a toll sometimes, but I'm gonna say 99% of the time we're on the same fucking page, man. And we know, and we know what the end result is gonna be, as long as we continue doing and staying consistent on what we need to be doing.
Looking for cutting-edge solutions for your spray foam needs? Look no further than Elastichem Specialty Chemicals. With a remarkable track record spanning over 3 decades, Elastichem stands as an industry-leading supplying contractors across Canada with top-grade closed-cell, open-cell, and specialty foam products and accessories. Experience hassle-free spraying in both summer and winter with Insulthane Extreme, Canada's groundbreaking HFO closed-cell product. Time is precious, and we know it. Optimize your efficiency and avoid downtime by choosing the best products with the best technical and customer support. Elevate your spray foam game today with Insulthane Spray Foam products by Elastichem. Give them a try today. Visit their website at www.elastichem.com or give them a call at 1-877-787-2436. Here's an interesting dilemma that I've never asked, and I'm just curious myself. If women or men were dating a tradesperson, which trade would they really want to date mostly, and which trade would they really not want to date? Based on the value of that trade, I guess. Like, I can sense that if someone's dating a mason, they're like, my significant other's a mason. Like, they build homes. Like, they cover, protect Mother Nature.
They're strong. These guys break rocks for a living.
Exactly,
Fred
right?
Flintstone.
So a mason is up there. Concrete is up there, right? Probably roofers are up there. And I'm trying to figure out which masons.
I think what you're
if there was a dating game, if there was a TCL dating game.
I got to divert from this. I think what you're getting at here is what's the softest trade on the job site?
Like that, the significant other might have a hard time proudly saying my significant other is a, you know what I mean, without upsetting anybody. But
I think
we'll keep it quiet. We won't even let anybody. You know what? You're listening. You guys can decide on your own.
I'm gonna play the diplomatic. I'm gonna be a politician here for a sec, and then I gotta say I think every trade, and this is what I generally feel. Every trade has easy moments and has tough moments. And, we have a lot of heavy lifting involved.
Yes.
But there's a lot of stuff that goes into certain trades that, we look at these guys and like, these guys got easy fucking, like, what do these guys do all fucking day long? You know what I mean? But I'm sure they have some challenges. I'm sure they have something that pops up.
I just want people to understand, like, we're not going to give it up. I don't want to give it up.
I think residential window guys have it pretty easy.
Residential window guys?
Yeah, I think residential window, when it comes into cookie cutter homes, they're not huge, big pieces. I think they have it pretty easy. They come in.
Windows are getting bigger and bigger and heavier.
They are getting bigger and bigger. Everybody wants these huge
cranes and genie lifts,
monster sliding.
Yeah,
high-rise window guys have a difficult job.
That's a different story.
That's a different ballgame.
Yeah.
I've seen the little spider crane that you're talking about. They put it up, they set it up, suction cups, huge suction. there's intricate process and a lot of thought that goes into putting some of these big, huge panels in. But I think 95% of the time, a residential window guy I think he has a pretty easy job. You grab the panel with your partner, you put in, zip, 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 zip. These guys,
foam, shim, done.
I've seen these guys, I've seen some of these guys slap 50 windows in a day like nothing, you know what I mean?
Well, they're professionals and they've been doing it for a while, and
they do it
and they know the efficiencies.
That's right.
I guess I was trying to get at
I'm not
like
trying to shit on anybody.
No, I'm not. I don't want to shit on anybody, but I'm sure that I'm not a sports guy, but I'm sure a lot of guys follow sports and they probably pay attention to certain players and then try to. Then you meet the wives or something like that, and all of a sudden you're trying to put the two together, and you're like going, "That's who married him," and.
Like, are they together? Like,
are they together?
That's actually a thing.
That kind of thing. So I started thinking, well, hang on a sec. Who's the better half? Who's the other significant other of a mason, of a concrete, or roofer, all the other trades involved there, right? And I'm just wondering if these guys play these games or like, the significant other came by and who's who and stuff. I'm fucking with people. That's all I'm doing. I'm fucking with people, man. But you guys can decide. But that's where the struggle comes from. I was just figuring that you guys and other trades, they go through all kinds of hardships. And it takes almost a really strong, almost equally as strong, if not stronger, person at home for you, is what I was trying to get at, right? Like, as much as you guys are, Flintstones, rockheads, and you guys do heavy lifting and hard days work, that significant other is doing the same thing in different aspects of it, right? So
I think the person we have at home with us,
it's amazing.
Is a huge part. If you're not, if you're in a wrong relationship with somebody, man.
Find the right one.
It makes difficult.
Yeah.
The one I'm with right now is good, man.
Good. Good. That's where I was
love you,
going
baby.
with. That's where I was going.
I love you, baby.
That's all. I wasn't trying to pick a fight, but I would definitely like to try to do a TCL dating game one day. That'd be funny.
That'd be interesting.
You remember that with the kissing?
Yeah, that's
tradesman number one. If you were gonna go on a date, would you take the pickup truck?
Would you take her to? Would you take the GMC pickup truck and take her on a first date to Home Depot, Lowe's,
on a
or Home Hardware?
Contractor food day. So, but you know what I mean? Like that's where you. That's a good. I watch that game show.
You would. You sound like you've already got it planned.
I'm ready to go. I just made that up shit right now, man.
You're gonna be host. I feel like you put some thought into this for some time.
TCL dating game. We covered everything, man. Is there anything else you want to share before we get out of here or wrap it up? It's been a great conversation. Thank you so much for meeting you finally. And
thank you.
You got a nice ride out there too, man. Keep it at that. That's all I'm saying.
Fruits of labor.
Fruits of your hard work, labor.
Fruits of the labor.
Simple as that, man. And I think every tradesperson should be proud of the fact that you can earn and you can use and provide and buy your toys now if you want to buy toys, man.
It's a redemption vehicle. I sold my previous vehicle for bad reasons, and I hated myself for it. So I said to myself that when I start doing well again, I've got to right that wrong, and I'm going to buy myself another car of the same make, and that was that one. And I
good for you.
Chose that one, and
good for you.
It's the same make of vehicle that I bought that I had before when I was 23, and like I said, sold for the wrong reasons.
Same color?
No.
No, the other one would have been.
The other one was like a goldish, brownish tint. It was different. It was a larger sedan too.
What do you make of this whole Tesla thing and the Roadster coming out, and it can go 0 to 60 in 1 second? I'm like, you really think the unskilled drivers that are out there on the roadways really need the ability of going 0 to 60 in 1 second? No, you don't. You don't need that crap. They're not for me either, trust me. I've been very vocal about all that stuff, right? So
I've seen Canadian. We haven't experienced that Canadian winter this year, but real Canadian winter is not meant for electric vehicles.
I'm going to wait for all the influencers to start doing all the Cybertruck, that crap on the job site.
Let people do their research of the stuff they don't sell you on, the stuff they don't tell you, right? Because if you start looking into all the people that post videos of themselves in those vehicles that are having trouble, and because of the temperature outside, he's only doing 60K an hour on the highway because his batteries.
The range is only this far.
Yeah. You start getting into that stuff.
I want to know when that car is about 5 years old and all of a sudden warranty's not covering batteries.
Do you know what the one thing that instantly is not a selling feature for me? throw road trips out the window.
Makes no sense to me.
Throw a road trip out the window.
Bring your Honda generator with you.
It's I seen a picture. I don't know. I seen a picture posted somewhere online. Guy charging a Tesla battery with a diesel generator.
I saw that.
Yeah, that's just some funny shit.
Well,
to
where's
see.
all the battery being charged from? From the grid.
Yeah.
That's a whole other. I'll eventually do a show on that.
On just that topic.
I don't know, because I don't know if I can get some. I don't know.
Schedule a double for that. I think
my eyes will fall out by the time I keep on rolling through 90 minutes of conversation. Transform Masonry Group, www.tmasong.com, Luke.TMG at hotmail.com. Find him on Instagram at Transform Masonry Group. Thanks so much, man. I got to do the 12 questions with you. Are you ready?
I am. I've put a little bit of thought into some of them, and then I just kind of
wing it.
I kind of wing some.
You
of them.
did a great job of the opening song there, man.
Well, thank you.
Anthony just looks like younger. I can't believe that guy's like older than me, man.
Who's that?
Red Hot Chili Peppers, man. That guy looks super young still, man. I don't know what the hell he's drinking or something like that. But what is your favorite construction word?
Chooch.
Chooch. That's a good word. What is your least favorite tool?
It's hard to say. That's when I kind of got stuck on. Can't say that there's a tool that I completely dislike, but I don't know.
Nothing?
No, I was sitting there and I was like, what tool do you not like? I don't know. I don't like holding the chipping gun. I like the chipping gun, but I don't like holding the chipping gun for long periods of time, like above my head. But it's not that I don't like it. It's a fantastic tool. So maybe there's just certain tools that I periodically don't like to use for a long period of time, like the chipping gun as an example.
I'm going to assume you guys are Makitas.
I'm a Milwaukee guy.
You're Milwaukee? Your dad, though? He's Makita.
He's
DeWalt?
He's old fashioned, but he's like no.
He's not that old fashioned.
No, he's not that old.
Are Polish.
Not that old. No, he's probably like a Black & Decker guy. I don't know.
Probably.
I couldn't tell you. Makita. I've always used Makita. We do have some DeWalt stuff. I'm sorry. I've always used Milwaukee. We do have some DeWalt stuff. Tools that were acquired in the early stages, and then now I buy Milwaukee. If I had to choose, it'd be Hilti. Everything. Unfortunately,
still red.
Still, fortunately, the price tag on a Hilti, it's
expensive. It's expensive,
but they are worth the money.
Yeah,
they are worth the money.
What construction sound do you love?
The sound of the mixer being cleaned at the end of the day. And for different reasons today than before. Before, it used to be the sound like, the day's fucking done. We're getting the fuck out of here. They're cleaning the mixer.
Yeah.
Today, there's like, we got a good day in, man. You know what I mean? Like, the day's in. We got as long as there's a nice chunk of work done, you're like, yeah, we got a good productive day. Mixer's being clean. Everybody's happy. I know the boys are happy because they're still having the same mentality. The day's fucking done. We're getting the fuck out of here. That's why it's to them. But for me, the meaning behind why that mixer is being, that's always been a good one for me.
I like that. What's your favorite beverage?
Coffee, buddy. Coffee and nicotine, buddy. That's how I run my day. Yeah.
Well, that's not nicotine. That's actually good for you.
But favorite beverage, it's something with some caffeine in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Worst and best part of construction?
Clients. Some are amazing, and they can make or break a job, and some
1,000% agree with you,
and
man.
some are
the best can become the worst, and the worst could sometimes become the best.
Yeah, that's
true.
That's
a good point.
That's a good one there.
What's your favorite curse word?
Pretty simple.
The F word?
Fuck, yeah. Fuck's pretty simple for me. Fuck's sakes. Fuck's sakes. If you put it in that, fuck's sakes, what the fuck is going on? I guess that's kind of it there.
That's a good one. Favorite vehicle in the entire world? Any mode of transportation?
I'm gonna say mine because of the meaning. Nice. I just expressed to you a few minutes ago.
Nice. What do you miss from your childhood?
That one's an easy one, buddy. My mother.
When did she pass?
It's been 16 years now.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that's that one. Yeah, I miss my mother, buddy. That's kind of say. She was a good woman.
How old was she?
She was 46 when she passed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. Yeah. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt one day?
if I wasn't doing this one?
Anything. Firefighter. Yeah. What profession would you not like to do?
Surgeon. Dealing with like blood and like I don't know. It's not for me.
It's not for me either, man. Last question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at those pearly gates?
Proud of you, man. You came out on top. Come on in.
Luke, pleasure, man. Thank you so much for making the time and coming on the show, man.
Thank you very much.
Your story, man. I really appreciate it, man.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah. Say hi to all the boys there. Say hi to Phil and everybody else you're bumping into. And I gotta start making a conscious effort to start making some time and passing by job sites and saying hello. And I did that last week. I came by a plumber, Sam, that's been on the show a few times, and I miss it. I miss being on site, right? So.
Hey, anytime you want to pass by, shoot me a text. I'll tell you where we're working.
Oh,
we're dispersed sometimes. Sometimes we're dispersed all over. Sometimes we're bulked. Sometimes we're bulked in one place for longer periods.
I'm not riding a bicycle or driving an EV, so I'll be able to find you and I'll get you.
You'll get there.
Yeah, and if I run out of gas, I'll just fill up.
Yeah, you won't have to stop 3 times on your way to get there.
Thanks so much, Luke, man.
Do you keep a diesel generator in the back?
I don't have an EV. I'll never have an FEV.
No.
That's how I look at them, man. They don't serve a purpose in my opinion.
No, me either.
That's it, right? You can create all these mandates in government. It's never going to pass.
I came across a thing not long ago about a vehicle that has a turbine engine and ran on any combustible fluid. They actually poured
hydrogen's coming.
A French guy poured perfume into it in France, and it ran. I can see if I pull up the video after. I'll show you.
Of course the French did that.
Yeah.
Perfume is more expensive by the gallon than fuel is, man.
Pouring liquor in it in Africa. They went around the world and poured different things into it.
At least the world will smell nice when it's exhausting.
One guy said they used, what's it called, old cooking oil, and he says the street smelled like Chinese restaurant when he was driving by. But yeah, their car ran on every kind of fuel. Anything that was combustible.
Man, in today's technology, why can't we create other things than just EVs and batteries? And I don't understand that, man.
Hydrogen's been around for a long time.
Hydrogen is what's going to. I think
BMW made the first hydrogen
you'll never
motor
get
20 years ago plus.
The internal combustible engine. You'll never get it away from me. I will always like that sound. I'll always drive that. I'll always prefer it. I don't care. You can Greta Thunberg my ass or whatever and complain and shit. I don't care about that.
There's nothing like sound of a V8, V10, V12, whatever. That rumble.
That's it. Simple as that, man.
Makes you want to drive quick just to hear the sound. You know, that is it. Just revving it up. You don't have to go anywhere. You can sit in the parking lot, rev it up, and enjoy yourself.
Luke, is that you got a generation that's probably growing up soon that's gonna never know those sounds. They're gonna be just convinced to buy these EV type of vehicles.
Convinced or brainwashed? Because there's a difference.
That's a different.
That's
a
whole
different
other
show, man. Luke, thanks so much, man. I appreciate it. Really, so much, man. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
We're out of here, Angelina.